Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the SaaS Marketing Makeover. I am very excited today to be joined by the one and only Sara Davis, Head of Marketing at Pronto. Welcome to the show, Sara.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you. I'm very pumped on this. We missed last week, so apologies to all our regular viewers, but excited to be back. So I always ask the guests this, Sara, who do you not want it to be? Like, who are you nervous? Which one would make you nervous right now?
I mean, I feel like if it's like an Apple or something, what can you critique? It's just too hard.
Yeah, you're like, hey, I'd like to give you feedback on your marketing, Apple. And it's like, well, we're all copying you.
Yeah,
basically. But no, I love that. Well, I don't think Apple's on the list, but who knows? I don't get to see the list. So, are you ready to see the wheel?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, hell yeah. Shaylee, let's do the wheel. Oh my gosh. Okay, they're throwing me for a loop. I don't know Cedar or Disco. Have you heard of Cedar or Disco?
Nope.
Cedar. They gave me a new one today. All right. I thought I know most of SaaS these days. I guess I do not. So, I miss who does though? It's so hard to keep up. So Cedar. What do you think is Go Cedar, Get Cedar, Cedar.io? Let's see. Is it this one? I think it's probably this one. So I just clicked their ad. Oh my God. I'm sorry, Cedar. Okay. So personalized patient billing built to engage. Okay. So let's go to their homepage, see if it's the same. It pays to care. That's a dope headline, actually. I'm not going to lie to you. That's actually a really cool hero shot. What do you think?
I like it. It's a little hard to read the second line of text, but I think it's really compelling. The bold.
That is a good point. It is hard to read that second line of text. Let's see if we can fix it. What do you think? What would you do to fix it? Make it bigger, essentially, or?
I'd make it bigger, maybe add some more contrast to the background.
It's going to go bigger. I don't think I can do contrast to background. I agree with that, though. They can layer. Yeah, it doesn't really solve. And then they need the line height should be like 1.2 or something. Yeah. See, that's tighter. But You're right. It needs an overlay on the image, no?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's just a side note, but I agree. These stink. You know why? I used to do this all the time in my marketing. The reason I say them stink is I don't think our customers these days, I don't think they believe us. I think they almost just ignore it. What do you think? Do you think anybody's like, oh my God, 30% increase in payments? I need Cedar.
Do you think they need to have attributions or kind of context? Or do you think just it's too early to introduce stats?
No, I think you're spot on. I think it's the context. I wish I could freaking remember who does this. I think it's Amplitude. I try to keep all these in my brain and sometimes I forget them. But they did this thing where they showed their stats. But see how and they proved it. So Amplitude is number one on analytics, and see how they proved it.
Oh, that's good.
This is that part, and then HBR. So it's not them saying it; it's Harvard Business Review saying it. But they had at one point. It's a new homepage, so I haven't seen this. They had though. Let me see if I can get there. Remember offline how I was talking about product marketing? This is kind of what I meant, right? But they had their quotes. And then this, but they were more market quotes and it was validated like this, but then they had the source. So this was from, let's say Trust Radius, this was from G2 and this was from Gartner. And then you could click to the link.
That's a good idea.
I guess what I was trying to explain there is if I did this, if you did 70% digital self-service payments, first off, I actually don't know what that one means. Do you know what that one means?
No. Is that a individual, do you think, or a company?
I think what they're saying is if you use Cedar to power your payment processing, that they can get you to where 70% of your payments are now done digitally by your patients, self-service. That's what they're saying. I think I would want them to have a Forrester report that validated that and then have a link to the report right here is kind of what I'm saying. Because then if you hit me with this stat, I think it's it whacks me as a customer and I'm like, oh my God, I need this. I don't think I go, oh my God, I need this when you hit me with these three stats without the validation.
That's true. And then the patient satisfaction, is that a good number? Is 88% better than what you had before?
Oh, you're right. This should be a contextual one, right? So you could take this thing, right? And you could go 15% above industry average or something. And then now it's contextual, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Google Analytics. If you don't hit the compare button, does it really matter? Do you know what I mean? Because you don't know, like, okay, we had 3,000 visitors this month. It's like, well, was it 1 million last month or was it 1,000 last month? Right? We need that context, I think, for the stats to pop.
I think so too.
Okay. And then we take care of end-to-end billing so you can take care of patients. Okay, so what's your processing fee? I think that's my very first question, and I haven't seen that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you're end-to-end billing, I think at the end of the day, if anyone who's going to buy from you, this is also tough too. When you go end-to-end, I think we kind of talked about this a little bit. But when you go end-to-end, you've got a big buying committee, right? Because now I got to get my FP&A team on board.
Oh,
with
yeah.
this. Not just my customer. Because like, who do you think they're selling? Because they're acting like they're selling customer success, but I think truthfully they're selling finance.
I think so too. Oh yeah, then
You
it
know
says
what I mean?
financial experience right there in that blurb. Yeah.
Yep. You see, so they're selling like both here. So from pre-visit registration to post-visit billing, we personalize the care journey, take each patient to payment. So the reason I wonder that is, okay, I know FP&A people. Do you think they care? Like, so this is a weird part about positioning. Do you think the FP&A people, like, see how the branding and positioning is more like to a head of people ops?
Mm-hmm.
Like it pays the care. So they're almost treating it like they're your employees, and it's kind of like the positioning of a people ops company and an
Yeah.
employee management software more than it is a patient billing software.
Do you think if they focus too much on the like revenue benefits for the billing company or the FP&A folks, that it would seem inhuman if it's just like, we'll get more money out of your customers? Like, I don't
It
know.
would.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's, I'm not saying I have the right thing. I just don't know if they have the right thing because I don't know who they're selling quite yet. Do you get what I'm saying? Like healthcare is complicated, but payment can be simple. But I've never heard of a small healthcare company, right? So at the end of the day, they're selling big organizations with massive FP&A functions. I just haven't seen them say anything. I think FP&A care. Like, let's see who it is. Okay, so it's CEO as a quote. Finance. See what I say in finance? See, it's AVP of finance.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's finance. See, it's all finance.
Yeah.
So how much do they save you? Do you see? How much do they increase? Like, what do they do to help finance? Because see how it says personalization, user experience,
That's true.
implementation, insights, self-serve payments, increase in payments, patient satisfaction. But they never mention cost. They don't mention billing, and they don't mention processing fee.
Right. Or on-time payments or anything like that.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like they have this persona of the head of finance, but I don't know if they're speaking to the head of finance so much as the CEO. Like, I love this as the CEO, right? Like, it's like, yeah, I wish our billing was more humane. We always get bad feedback on that. We got to do better billing software. Nobody likes getting, bills from their hospital or their healthcare system. How can we make that better? So I see that, but I see FP&A going like, okay, how does that affect our cost though? Does that integrate to Workday? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if they're solving this to their persona.
True. Maybe in their detailed pages, but certainly not in the home page.
Let's check out the details. So Cedar Pay, I think personalized patient billing built to engage. Let's see if they get there. 3 clicks to bill payment. So I know why that's good for, I think, like the customer experience team. I know why this is good for customer success.
Mm-hmm.
I know why this is good for your CTO. Where's finance?
I guess there.
It is a sexy billing system. Like, it looks dope as hell. Like, I'm not knocking this. The product looks amazing. I'm just wondering. Oh, here it is. That was that context I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. What do you think? I'm a little struggling here. I'm not going to lie to you. Because I just haven't seen him talk once to the finance person.
Right. So who's it actually supposed to be selling on this? I think that's a good question.
Yeah, and if I was the Cedar team, I think I would just take this feedback and be like, all right, do we want to be selling finance people? Because if we do, I mean, I would do like why FP&A professionals choose Cedar.
Mm-hmm.
You see, like, and then, so let's maybe go there. So Cedar Pay with the Cedars. That's not good. So where's the Cedar Suite? I never heard of the Cedar Suite till just now. Did you?
No.
That's a gap. We need Cedar Suite in here then, right? And then Cedar Pay would be nested within it, correct?
Oh, right. Yeah, definitely.
Because the Cedar Suite would be your platform, and then Cedar Pay would be a feature, I would believe, technically. So then I would have my platform as a suite, and then within the suite, I would have my tools, one of which would be Cedar Pay, maybe another would be analytics.
And the suite's probably more expensive, you would think, too. So you'd really want to try to upsell that.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%. For example, view your collection rate. See, that's the finance stuff, right? How does it improve collection rate? How does it improve time to collect? Like I think these two pieces right here are huge. And then also, how does it affect your processing fees? Because I do think, let's see if they can show us a Cedar Suite.
So there is a landing page somewhere. I don't know how.
Yeah, but it's not integrated in the menu, no? Dang it. Come on, Cedar. You're so close. Because their branding stuff is so clean.
Yeah.
It's a really cool way to make billing personal, if that makes sense. I think it's really, really nice. So meaningful interactions from check-in to bill resolution. Cedar provides the tools to deliver personalized patient financial interactions. So they help you pre-visit, at visit, post-visit. This is a tough sell, though. Have you ever sold a product because now if you go pre-visit, like, you know how many people you have to get on board? So maybe they are selling the CEO and they want the CEO to sponsor this. I don't know. It's a tough, you see what I mean? Because there's a lot of people you'd have to get bought into this, no?
Yeah. So do you think they would require patients to create a login or something like that? Or they just be like, this is part of our healthcare system. Everyone uses this now.
Well, no, this is their intake form, I'm sure. So this would have to be your intake. This would have to be, so your front desk staff, right? The people who run kind of the customer experience would have to be bought into this. And then you would have to have the billing people bought into this. And then you would have to have finance and healthcare leadership bought into this, because this is a complete user experience sell, if that makes sense.
That's a lot of behaviors to change too.
They look big though, and I don't see any. Where's all their logos?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like, this product looks pretty built out. I'm not gonna lie. This does not look like it's a startup. You know what I mean? Like, let's go to AngelList and let's see. I'm curious where they're at funding wise, because yeah, they got 62 million in funding, and they're a Series B company, and they're not tiny, but I don't think they showed us one customer. Did you see one client yet?
No, other than the quotes. Yeah. That's it.
Which is,
oh, maybe the client stories in that?
You know what it probably is? That's ironic about this is they probably have just a massive sales force. So my uncle is in hospital network insurance, and it's all relationship driven kind of in this space. And I'm sure the healthcare kind of decision-making process is very relational and kind of old school, but I don't the product is so sexy and cool, and they're massive. I want some more quotes. I want a customers page, because I feel like if you showed me, oh, you do this network, that network, oh my gosh, okay, you've got the biggest, you have all the biggest players in the space. I trust you now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it's sometimes hard to get healthcare logos approved to use, though.
So that could be a huge part of it.
And maybe that's why.
Yeah,
because these quotes seem to be slightly smaller, like this, I can't even pronounce that medical center, or the ones before it.
No, I agree with you. Christiana Care, Cara, and Summit City MD. Yeah, that could be a case. But, if I was the marketing team, then I'd go back to sales and fight for, putting in our SOWs, our statement of work, that we can use quotes. And I might even offer a discount if I have to some of the bigger players in procurement to see if I can't get their logo on the site. You know what I mean?
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Because, a lot of people do that in these tough to serve industries. They'll put essentially like marketing rights in the SOW, and then that becomes a part of the negotiation of price. And so it's like, oh, you don't want to pay that much. Well, okay, we'll give you that 10% discount, but you need to give us a quote, or we got to be able to use your logo. You see what I'm saying?
Definitely. I think that would prove hugely valuable too.
Oh, undoubtedly, because I didn't realize Cedar was that big, and I think Cedar's massive, but I couldn't tell. Like, let's see how many open job recs they have. I bet you it's huge. Yeah, see this?
That's a lot.
Yeah, they're not a small organization. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They need to act like they're not. And I think the only way you act like that is you got to throw some big logos on there.
Oh, we have some awards at the bottom.
Yeah, they do. They might want to throw these at the top too from a culture standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's look at content. Let's see how they're telling their, let's see how they're articulating. Oh, we do have client stories. Oh my God, there might just be hidden. Let's see if we find it. Client stories. Okay, they only have 2. No, they still struggle with this. And I'm sure it's for the reason you said. I don't think their team's like, you know what we don't want? Social proof.
Yeah, true.
I don't think that's what they're trying to do. I think it's probably just difficult. So we might want to try that SOW idea. Let's see these case studies. What do you think about them?
Yeah.
Cool. Kept their hero theme. Oh, it's video style.
I'm Dr. Hal Heidelbaum, Managing Partner and CEO of Crystal Run Healthcare. We've been working with Cedar for several years, and Cedar has dramatically improved the patient experience and frankly has improved our ability to collect.
We had this big initiative in the beginning of 2018 to change.
Those are clean. Let me get an idea of it.
Yeah, I like it.
What do you think about that? Do you like video ones? Do you like written ones? Like, kind of what's your take there?
I like video ones a lot. You'd want to make sure you have something written though for SEO, I think, unless you're doing kind of meta tags, I guess, in the background of it. But I think video is really compelling, especially since they do have the actual stakeholders speaking to it themselves.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, especially since we haven't seen a ton of social proof. This is a cool little content. I like this concept, right? Like, I think they're planting the seed here for their value prop, right? Like I think if you remember earlier from their product page, they said you can pay bills with 3 clicks. And now they're showing how many clicks should it take. And I think they solve this problem, but I don't know if everyone in that old school industry has ever thought about how many clicks it takes to pay a medical bill. I think it's a cool little piece of content. Let's see if they execute it. Okay, well, first piece of feedback is make sure if your average user is the CEO of a healthcare company, let's increase our font size so they can read it.
What is this size at? 10?
That's 16. And this is a little better, and then maybe a little darker font to help themselves out. But now at least I can read it. So in the 1970s, Tootsie Roll posed one of the biggest things. How many licks did it take? Funny. I'm not a huge fan of like the classic bolding coloration thing with like oranges and blues and stuff.
You think it should just be one color or less?
Yeah. And then hyperlinks maybe can be underlined. So you know that they're a hyperlink.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see if we have. Okay, so they said they had a report. Didn't they call this a study or healthcare insights? It'd be cool if they had a study. I think, you know what I mean? Like if this was more in a study format. So like according to internal research from 2021, 48% of Texas patients at Cedar Client Health Systems paid bills with sub 100 balances in just 3 clicks. This aligns with the recent Salesforce finding that 52% of global consumers expect to be able to find the need from a company in 3 clicks or less.
It's a good data points.
It is good data point. I think I want to visualize it though. I think you could turn this blog post into a visual that kind of plotted like Cedar versus the competition, or with Cedar or doing nothing, legacy billing. If you don't want to call your competitors out, you can at least call it legacy billing, legacy billing companies. And you can kind of be like, we're the future, they're the past. And you can kind of highlight that. You know what I mean?
It'd be interesting maybe to do a timeline, or not a timeline, but a number of clicks. And then you show kind of the fall off once you get to like 5 clicks, what happens. And maybe where Cedar fits in with 3 or less.
Well, yeah, and I think like some of this feature stuff is dope as hell, and we didn't see it until this little quote. Like they have Apple Pay on their billing. I'm not gonna lie to you, that's epic. Like, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like that is a very consumer friendly feature. I think under Cedar Pay, you might want to be able to build out your product marketing and talk about like, who do you integrate with? What payment providers do you accept? Like, how does this integrate to maybe your ERP system? Because I haven't seen anything on integrations, right? So I would imagine Cedar obviously needs to integrate to your accounting software and probably your Salesforce, correct? But I don't think I see any integration content. I don't. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like if you're a product like this, you're coded like, let's say Stripe, right? Like Stripe does billing too, correct? So let's just assume, so first they lead with social proof, right? And then let's see if they have integrated. They have so many products, I forgot about that. We're there. Let's see if they do integrations. Yeah, partners. There you go. And now you can see who they work with and that it's SCA ready or see how it fits. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Apple Pay is very forward thinking in my opinion too. So I would imagine they're also integrated with much more than that too.
Oh, I would have to imagine, of course. They'd be like, yeah, of course we're going to work with those things. And I'm sure the salespeople answer that question all the time. I just might want to get that into my marketing because I think that creates a better reason to use them. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Anything you're seeing here that I haven't touched on that you're like, oof, we got to dive into that?
What is listed under the resources? So it's their testimonials. What else do they have?
They have events.
What kind of events do they do?
So Experience Cedar live or on demand. So it looks like we probably have some like RSVP repeated webinars, I'm sure. Like Cedar Talks on Demand like these, right? And you can start to see. They've got Chelsea Clinton. You see what I mean? Like they have the co-founder of Peloton. Like they have these people, and I feel like they just kind of co-founder of Instagram. Like what the hell? Like yo, this is badass. Like what is these people featuring Chelsea Clinton? Why is that hidden? You know what I mean? Like this is dope. What the heck? People eat this up.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't have anything like this.
No.
I would be like that would be up somewhere like instead of this. Or instead of any of these things. I think it's like that's some like those three pieces of content they had should replace these three, in my opinion.
And the picture is so small, I didn't even identify.
No, you didn't even know, did you?
No.
Yeah, you probably didn't even tell that it was like.
It was a stock photo of a blonde person.
No, and I think they hosted it. Like, yeah, this is a Cedar Talk with the co-founder of Instagram.
That's huge.
Yeah, those are some pretty killer guests. I don't even know how they book those guests. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they've got like some amazing stuff that they just kind of hide. I would be showing this off all the time.
Oh, for sure.
That's so
definitely higher up on the website, on social, emails, etc.
Yeah, do you see this? Like, how Peloton, like, that's awesome. Yeah, I just think that because this, I think, is what I think they're trying to make people like to show aspirational content, almost like they're trying to make people realize why they need Cedar. Because I think there's a lot of legacy thinking probably in this space, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I think this totally fits what they're trying to execute. I think they just accidentally buried it, and it's not even old. It's only from January. Like this is dope. You just remove this date and you make it evergreen. Like watch what happens if you just go like this. Now it's evergreen.
That's great. Yeah, I like that.
And once again, I make the content a little bigger.
Is he
what about try Cedar?
Oh, sorry, yeah. What did you... No. Let's try Cedar.
Okay, so we're ready to try Cedar. I'm going to be honest with you. This page is underwhelming from best practices standpoint.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say I request a demo, right? What happens next?
That's true. Doesn't say what happens.
What do I get on this demo? Who am I talking with? How long is it?
Good point.
I think people want to know that information.
And only showing the street address almost makes it seem like it would be in person or something like that.
This is like old school web development for if you did a bunch of like local clients, you always have this kind of stuff, but I don't think it's relevant to Cedar, if that makes sense.
Probably not at all.
So like imagine, watch, like I'll show you what I would do. So imagine if you took this piece, let's see where it is, right here, right there. And then you turn these into benefits. So speak with a billing expert. And we have another one, right? 30-minute call. And it's on like, see how much you could save, right? You got what I mean? Like, and you can build this all out and design this, but I think that kind of information is pretty critical to the success of this part, right? You funneled everyone in this website to try Cedar. Now the question is, okay, like, am I trying Cedar? Because like, I think the lie is that you could try Cedar. I've always been most effective with call to actions when I like advertise the next step. So I usually, instead of like a try Cedar CTA, I'll just be like, book discovery call. And that'll highlight what you get on the discovery call.
Yeah,
because when you request a demo, you don't get a demo, right? What do you get? You get an inbound SDR who qualifies you. I don't know. What do you think? What have you found to work best on these types of pages?
I mean, I think there has to be some statement about what you benefit from filling this out. This is a lot of fields too, especially the how did you hear about us? It doesn't seem to be a drop down. So that's kind of open-ended, which is interesting to me.
You know what they could do, right? Like they could just make this a 2-column layout. So you go first name, last name, same line. Because no one's first name is like, look how long your first name would have to be. I'll be like dead serious. Like if you just think about it from a UX standpoint, like you'd have to have the world's longest name to maximize that field space.
Yeah.
You could just go first name, last name, and then you could get the submit button up above the fold to be like right here.
I think that just seems like, just so much less to overcome than an entire page of a form.
Yeah, it is a little daunting, and they don't have any of that social proof, right? So then we take those quotes that we had on the homepage. Those are maybe right here on the right or below us. We got some of those logos still. We got our call to actions of why you want to do this. You can maybe add a phone number as well. So I could imagine maybe the older audience wants to talk to someone on the phone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's some pretty good opportunities though for them to like tighten it up.
I think so too. So the CTAs are learn more or schedule demo, it seems. Your request demo.
Oh yeah, what's the learn more one that they send us to? That's the why Cedar.
Oh, okay.
Powered by data, designed for results. I don't think that's a great why statement. I think they actually have a better why statement here. It pays to care. That's their why. Why Cedar? Because it pays to care, right? You have that big statement and then you validate that with data. It's cool. Like it's very like the product. I can't say enough about this. I mean, the product looks sexy as hell. I think it's just how do we tell the product story? And while the brand looks clean, it leaves me with a lot of questions. And I don't know if I feel confident enough as a user to be like, let me get a demo, even though I'm not in market. So if I'm in market and I'm looking for new healthcare billing, yeah, I'll get a demo. But what if I just have been frustrated with my current billing provider and I don't have my renewals in 6 months? I don't know if Cedar's doing enough right now to get me to request a call now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, especially if it's unclear who this is really meant for, I suppose.
No, 1,000%. So I'm sorry, Pronto, but Sara has been poached and she's now joined the Cedar team. She's head of marketing at Cedar. What are a couple things you want to do maybe different, when you get there, Sara, to make an impact?
I really think pulling out any kind of proof around the validity and kind of the breadth of how big of a company this is, whether that's surfacing some of the quotes or really great talks that they have would be really validating in terms of who is Cedar. I think also just the facilitation of understanding like, hi, I'm coming into this as this type of person. I want to see information that I care about, and being able to figure out like, yes, I'm in finance and I care about this one thing. Here's this page I can go to and fully understand it. So segmentation a little bit. And then I think finally is just, honestly, the contact us form. Maybe there's another kind of way to get in touch with them. I think phone would be key, especially if you're working with probably large healthcare providers who may not necessarily be up to date on the latest technology may need phones to contact them.
Yeah, I love all that. I think some of the content we didn't get to is like, what's your implementation support like? I would have a pretty big implementation page because this is not like how is it a 6-month implementation or is it a year implementation? It's not a 30-day implementation. There's no way. I've never been to a healthcare provider that's gonna. I mean, I wait for 30 days to get seen by the doctor. I don't think they're gonna be able to roll out the billing software that fast. You know what I mean? So like, what is implementation like, and how? You know, if I'm going to be sponsoring Cedar and I got my neck on the guillotine saying we need new billing, how do you protect my butt by being your champion? Like, I think, you know what I mean? Like, I think we got to get into the psychology of who is our audience, right? If it is finance, like we talked about in the beginning, we don't really market to finance. So how do we, like, who's our persona? How do we tell that story? And then how do we address the psychological friction of actually buying Cedar in our content? And I think it would have a pretty big impact because that's a really cool product. I mean, that product, I think, sells itself. Maybe that's why they don't have more of this stuff, because like Apple Pay for a hospital billing, I mean, my wife would be like in love with Cedar. If, like, she could get that. So, you know, Cedar, amazing job, like killer product. I think hopefully there's some low-hanging fruit from this, you know, session today that you can maybe find some ideas from. But Sara, people want to follow you. They love you today. How can they do that?
LinkedIn's great. There's probably 1,000 Sara Davises on LinkedIn, but this is my handle.
Davis Sara right here.
Yes. Secured that one early on in LinkedIn's tenure.
Hell yeah. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. This was amazing. And that, everyone, is another episode of the SaaS Marketing Makeover. So thanks, and have a great day.
Thank you.